Hello, everyone. It's Steve from Beyond the Trades, also from the microefutures.com/equitiesetc.com trading room. So I just wanted to give a shout out to all the members of a very fine trading room community that I am a part of. So today is Saturday morning, and I wanted to do a follow-up video on that last video I did a couple of days ago called The It Factor. And if you guys hear any wildlife behind me, like ducks quacking or lawnmowers going on, I do apologize. I am sitting outside in my backyard here. So I just wanted to enjoy a nice, cool Florida day. It's about 60 degrees or 65 degrees. We don't get many days like this here in Florida. So I do like to enjoy it here in South Florida. So today's video discussion is, as I mentioned, a follow-up to the It Factor, the last video that I completed, leadership skills as it relates to trading. If you have not watched it, you can go to Beyond the Trades YouTube page. It is there. You can watch it, or if you're a member of our microefutures.com trading room, it is posted there in one of the videos trading strategies channel rooms. So please do so. So today's going to be on the fear of failure and the willingness for us to fall short in failing. And I'm going to put a slide up later in this video. So stick around at the end, because the end really ties everything what I'm saying together. So one of the things that I got to thinking about when it comes to the fear of failure and how it relates to trading, business, being an entrepreneur, even in your personal life, is imagine a baby when the baby starts walking. And this is a really great analogy. The baby usually starts off crawling, and the baby's very excited about crawling, right? It's making progress. It's independent. Then it pulls itself up on like a small desk or a couch. And then it gets brave enough to start taking that first step, and then several steps. And then what happens? The baby falls, right? It's inevitable. He'll take a couple of steps, or she will take a couple of steps, and then the baby will fall. So that got me to thinking, what would happen if that baby was just satisfied crawling, which is a lot better than before the baby could crawl? Well, what if the baby was just satisfied taking a couple of steps? I mean, the baby fell, right? Most likely that hurt a little bit when that baby fell walking. Okay, can you imagine if as babies we just give up and decide that we're going to play it safe and just crawl the rest of our lives? So keep that in the back of your mind. It sounds so corny, but the mind, right? The mind, the baby wants to walk. He sees the potential. The baby sees what can be versus what is, okay? And the mind kind of dictates what the body's going to do for the baby going forward. So the baby wants what can be over what is now. So, but what's the paradox of all this, if you really think about it, is traders, ourselves, that fear of us failing, that fear of us falling down, caused many of us just to quit or to stay comfortable where we're at. Okay, it's absurd that we even think that way, but we do. And I just wanted to get that out to kind of lead into where I'm going with this. You have to look at, some of the most successful traders, businessmen, entrepreneurs. I mean, most are aggressive, like that baby trying to walk, okay? In what they do, what it takes, right? Those are some characteristics of people that have the it factor, okay? Right? They're aggressive in nature. They do what it takes. And if they're not aggressive in nature, they learn, like that baby, okay, to be aggressive, obviously with proper risk, of course. You do what it takes. Also, They're very thick-skinned, people willing to make mistakes. You got to be thick-skinned to be willing to make mistakes, including losing money if you're a trader. Because let's face it, a thick-skinned, aggressive individual that wants to succeed, okay, knows that if they lose money, they can always go out and get more money. And we've talked about this over and over again, whether it be a part-time job, whether it be a side hustle, simply put, no one buys that the reason why you're scared in trading or the fear of failure is because you're afraid of losing your small bank account if you're a new trader right now. Okay, because most of you, if you're a new trader right now, you do have a small account. So if you lose a couple of grand or even 10 grand or even 20 grand, you could always go out in this day and age and make more money, especially this day and age when you can make money online with your cell phone or your mobile phone. So they're aggressive and they're not afraid, right? Those that don't make it usually are the ones playing it safe. Like that baby that decides, I'm not going to walk, I'm going to crawl, right? They're doing only what is sure to succeed. So think about that as traders. Are you playing it safe? Are you only doing what you know can succeed? And taking that little gain, if that's what you're doing, okay? Not holding that trade, exiting without a good, valid reason why you should be exiting, all because you're afraid of the pain of falling down or you're afraid of losing money, okay? But in the process, you're developing bad habits and you're giving yourself a very fixed mindset over a growth mindset because you are going to stay in a comfort zone and not become all that you can be. Right. So you have to understand that. Okay. Those who don't make it are usually the ones playing it safe. You see it in our room. Okay. They're only doing what is sure to succeed. They retreat in fear, never having the faith to walk into something new and unknown. They're overly cautious, kills what can be, and is a fixed, not growth mindset. Being overly cautious kills what can be and is a fixed mindset. And I do have notes if you see me looking down. So I want to follow up with that. It's not okay. The best traders in the world don't have the type of mindset that you see a lot of new traders. And if you think you're a new trader, that you're just going to magically develop this mindset in year 2, 3, or 4 of your trading, you're wrong. The habits you develop now as a new trader is what's going to stick with you for life. Think of that baby. Imagine if that baby crawled till it was 5, 6 years old and then decided it wanted to walk. Do you understand that analogy? How absurd, how stupid that analogy is? No, that baby at that right time, at that early age, in the beginning of his walking career, so to speak, gets up and walks and fails and falls down and gets up. No excuses here. You see it with serial entrepreneurs, traders, and also successful people just in life. They're not always successful. It doesn't make you successful right off the bat when you take a chance. Like that baby is not going to start walking then running. They're going to fall many, many times. People in life who are always successful fail often, but when they fail, they tend to rebound very quickly, often followed by lasting success because they're working through that pain. Now, I'm saying all this and think about your own personal trading journey. I'm keeping it vague a little bit for those of you who are listening and relating to it for your job, for your personal life, in your business, or if you're a serial entrepreneur, or if you're a trader. The person who really thinks learns as much from his failure as he does his success. I think we all can agree that, right? Failure is the greatest teacher. We learn more from our failures than our success. Well, if that's the case and we learn more, why are we avoiding taking those chances to learn, to become all we can be? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Okay. And neither does most successful people, even on the trading floor. I mean, you hear corny statements like failure is a tuition you pay for success, right? I hear that all the time, and it's true. All right, I don't want to keep beating this dead horse too much, but I do want to give a good analogy. Michael Jordan. Everyone knows who Michael Jordan is. Some say the greatest basketball player of all time. All right. So I'm quoting Michael Jordan. I'm really paraphrasing Michael Jordan. He stated that there was 26 times the game was on the line. He had the ball, the final makeable shot, not a Hail Mary type of shot, a makeable shot 26 times. I mean, that we're talking about here. Obviously, he had more than 26, but those 26 times we're talking about, he shot a makeable shot and missed and failed 26 times. Again, sounds corny, doesn't it? But Michael Jordan goes on to state that he's failed over and over and over again in his life. And that is why he succeeds. That's a powerful statement coming from Michael Jordan. He failed, and he states it 3 times over and over and over again in his life. And that is why he succeeds. So why are we or you protecting yourself from failing? Why do you feel that if you fail, okay, you're no good? Or if you fail, you'll never succeed? Again, we all understand risk management. No one's here talking about being reckless, right? And that goes without saying. We're taking to push yourself to the limit. Now I'm going to screen share right now a hand-drawn graph that we're going to discuss. All right. And it's called the fear of failure. So let's talk about this graph a little bit and try to relate your trading to it. Okay. Obviously, you see where point A is. You start at the point right below point A. This is your trading journey. Okay. You go from point A, you're learning how to trade or anything you're doing in life. And then you reach a point where you see local max, your local maximum, where you're successful. You're scalping for 1 point, 2 points, very small. You might be making some money over a prolonged period of time. Not much to live on, not much to, that you can live the type of lifestyle that you might have visions for, but you're doing okay. Okay. You're, in essence, taking a few steps as that baby was doing. But then something happens on this path. You go to point B, where all of a sudden you push yourself too far. And now you start pulling back. You start failing. Oh my God, I'm not going to make it. And then it gets worse. You drop all the way down to C. And oh my God, I'm almost back to the beginning. Everything I'm learning, everything Steve and other leadership principles are wrong. I just want to get back to my local max stage, where I was making a little bit, where I was a little bit successful. I mean, I'm all the way at stage C now. This sucks. Okay. This is all bullshit what I'm learning. Okay. And that usually at that point C is what separates the winners from the losers. Those who are going to live a mediocre life versus those who are really going to become all that they can be. Because at point C, people will retreat, go to B, and get back to the local max and stay there. Stay there scared, stay there fearful, and never, ever be willing to take chances again to grow where there may be. Where those, and it's a very small percent who are at point C, says, listen, part of my vision. We discussed vision with a definition in the last video. So if you haven't watched it, please watch it. Vision with a definition says, I understand this process. I understand this graph that I'm screen sharing right now. Okay, that this is all a process, like that baby walking a few steps that's now falling down. Okay, that gets back up and tries again. Pretty soon you go from point C to point D, all the way to your Big Macs, where you've kind of made it in that sense. Now, the reason why it slopes down from Big Macs is because just because you hit Big Macs, right, the point where you feel you've made it, obviously you got to keep doing it, right? Because if you let up, you'll start trending back down again. So this is a very powerful hand-drawn graph. I will say most traders in the micro E futures and equities ETC room, and also most new traders elsewhere, okay, go from point A. If they're lucky enough to make it to local max, meaning small success, okay, they retreat and they want to go to Big Macs. But then when point B and point C hits them and they start going backwards or falling after taking the first few steps, all right, they quickly stop. They didn't have that vision with the definition we talked about. They didn't have belief, okay, in the actions that they would take. And they didn't have that faith we talked about in the first video. And they go back to point B and then back to local max. And they stay there or just totally altogether quit. Where others will strive and push through, take those lumps and take those pains and push point D and point B to Big Macs, excuse me. And that's very important to understand. Now, a good example of someone in our room that has done this, okay, there's two that stick out to me. There's more, but two that really stick out to me in our microefutures.com and equitiesetc.com trading room is Ray, All Day Ray, as well as Mr. Good. Little known fact, Mr. Good's name's Steve. No, it's not me, but Mr. Good's name is Steve. So Mr. Good and All Day Ray are examples of individuals that in less than 2 years have become highly successful traders making serious money. Okay, Big Max money. They went through this process. How do I know? I've been a part of their journey since day one. I've seen the ups and the downs. They both quickly went from point A to local max. And then from there, they had that vision. They understood where they wanted to go. And both of them hit point B and point C, okay, where they pulled back. They took some lumps, but both understood the SMB capital training, all right, methodology that we teach in the rooms. They understood the foundations of the playbook, one good trade, everything that we teach in the rooms. And they went from local max to point B to point C, and they did not lose their vision. They knew that that was a process, that it was a healthy pullback, if you want to use trading terms, and they did what they needed to do, hit point D, hit Big Max, and now, even in a bear market, making the adjustments necessary to stay at Big Max on a daily basis, right? Doing what got them there, continuing to do it, making the adjustment so they don't go on a downtrend. Versus the majority of members in our room will go from point A to local max, and they're happy. They want to go to Big Max, so they'll try it. They'll try it. They'll try it for a day or 2 days or one trade, 2 trades, 3 trades, whatever it may be. And they'll quickly drop to point B. Maybe they'll stick it out a little longer and drop to point C. And then they're like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm quitting. I'm going back to local max. That's just ridiculous. I see it. I see some really great traders we have in our room that have the potential to be like Ray and to be like Mr. Good and make serious money. I see it, but they're retreating back to local max. They're going from point C to point B back to local max. And that's heartbreaking to see, because some of these have potential. to be Big Max type players. And Bill Parcells, famous football coach, says it best. Just because you have potential, that just means you haven't done anything yet. And that always stuck with me. So I see a lot of traders in the room at local max, tried it, went to B and C, and then went back to local max instead of trying to reach D and Big Max. I am never going to achieve their potential. And I understand, there are a lot of individuals in our room that preach, do everything what it takes to protect your almighty dollar. That sounds good. That's very cliche-ish, right? But that's just a given in trading, a given in being an entrepreneur, a given in life. You're always going to have to protect your risk. You got to think in bets, so to speak. Is your decision the most statistically profitable decision for you to make at the time? And most of the time, people are not thinking that way. They're thinking out of fear, scarcity. So if you just want to stay at local max, that's great, but that's bullshit, because no one wants to stay at local max. You're not going into trading, the pain of trading, just to stay at local max. You want Big Max. If you say, well, I'm just happy staying at local max, you're just kidding yourself. It's bullshit. You can keep lying to yourself. Go in the mirror, go in the bathroom, go look in the mirror, eye to eye, look at your eyeballs in the mirror and say that's true, that you don't want to get to Big Max. So if you get to Big Max, that's your vision. You got to have a definition. And definition is this chart is going to show you what it's going to be like and what you need to do. So I'm starting to ramble on too much. It is the weekend. My grandson has a football game at noontime today that I am looking forward to go watching. So with that, I will wish everyone a great weekend. Hopefully you got something out of this. I really appreciate all the positive comments I got on the last video I did. I like doing these types of videos because all of you can get technical analysis, strategy videos, all that good stuff in the rooms. We have the libraries, the vault. I even have videos on the strategies I use, and others, JJ, Ray, Dennis, so on, have videos. But this type of thinking, mindset thinking, I honestly feel is what separates the winners and the losers. Growth mindset over fixed mindset. Don't strive for what is, strive for what can be. Again, I'll say it again. Don't strive for what is, strive for what can be. So with that, everyone, have a great day.